Greetings to everyone, dear friends. Right now, we are living in a time when energies are changing our environment very rapidly. And the quantum transition is making many people wonder what will happen, how our lives will develop, and how the energetic process of this quantum transition will unfold. And now we are approaching the moment when the curatorship on our planet is changing once again. For the past several years, our planet has been under the curatorship of Sirius, and today we will talk with them about the results of what has been happening in their processes and how the process of integrating new energies on Earth has taken place. On this day, it feels as if the entire planet is being reformatted, when the way we used to live is changing. I will describe it now. What symptoms of the quantum transition many of you are already experiencing, and how this will continue to develop. We are approaching the profound topic of what the quantum transition is, how it works, how to thoroughly break it down so that everything is clear, and most importantly, to have a clear algorithm for action, how to directly help yourself make your own personal individual quantum transition to attain super consciousness. And I will talk about this in the upcoming broadcast. I will do a series of such broadcasts. So to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And now let's look at the topic of this transition from the perspective right. Now it's 21:21 on my clock, which is also a kind of energetic portal. Let's begin. To start, in order to truly understand the current processes, it's essential to realize that everything happening on the physical plane does not occur by chance. All events in the material universe on the physical plane, including the structures of our bodies, the structures of states, governmental structures, and the egregorial structures here first formed on the subtle plane. The same goes for the changes that occur along with them. That's why we need to understand that when we talk about the quantum transition, we all expect it to happen instantly, right now, and that we should clearly and obviously see some physical changes in society or in certain processes, but many people don't really understand how this works and don't know what to expect. And honestly, this topic has become tiresome, so let's figure out what this is and why it's set up this way. The etheric plane is what the universe is made from. When our universe was born, it first appeared as a stream of vibrations coming from certain higher planes. And the formation of our material universe happened through the densification of these vibrations into dense physical matter. That's why in any processes, there are always multiple layers of reality involved. Our planet Earth is not just a rock in space. In essence, it is surrounded by shells, these energetic membranes, which each form like a layered cake, certain etheric subtle layers. And we here on Earth are not the only intelligent beings who can call themselves Earthlings, because besides us, there are also other spirits of nature, here astral spirits, spirits existing on different levels of density, whom we can call beings from parallel dimensions. They are also present here. They too are undergoing a quantum transition and evolution. They are also experiencing transformations and all sorts of different struggles. And we must realize that we are already the densest link, meaning that when all the information and transformations have passed through those other levels, only then do they condense down to our physical plane. And sometimes it's unclear to us how we can tune into these energies, how we can speed up the process of manifesting this bright future. After all, everyone thinks that the process of quantum transition and the quantum transition itself is some kind of great happiness like 1, 2, 3, and we'll all ascend. And some people say that we will no longer have physical bodies. And perhaps you've already heard some information on certain channels about a new virus. Soon, you'll all be locked down again. You'll be overwhelmed with all sorts of problems, once again deprived of opportunities, freedoms, and rights. And as a result, many of you have accumulated fears and questions, and understanding what the future depends on has become very difficult. That's why today we will lift the veil on these mysteries and take a deep look at how it all works, why it happens, and how our future will unfold. I am not a fortune teller or a forecaster, so I won't try to lay everything out precisely here, but by entering the flow, we will read together a direct energetic forecast from Sirius about what energies are coming now and what changes they will bring. Why do we need this? What is an energetic forecast? An energetic forecast is a kind of an etheric weather in the field, meaning when the structure of the surrounding vibrational space changes, it's like a change in the weather. It doesn't determine exactly what fate a person, a country, or anything else will have, but it does indicate what tendencies are present right now. In other words, energy, the energetic forecast, doesn't predict specific events in the future exactly, but it gives us a direction for understanding how we should act so that we can ride the waves of this energy like a surfboard and move toward the best life you could possibly want for yourself. Otherwise, if a person doesn't understand what energies are coming, they simply get overwhelmed by these waves and tossed around in them, not understanding what's happening. And I'll let you in on another secret about what other forces are now actively interacting with humanity unfavorable ones. Through whom, how, and in what way they have started trying to carry out their plans. So now I'm going to make contact with representatives of Sirius. There's no way to get rid of the background noises because those are frogs. It's the rainy season right now. And the frogs are croaking, grunting, and whistling very loudly. There's some kind of grasshopper of unknown origin sitting outside my window, constantly making noises like a squeaky cart. And there's nothing I can do to get rid of Fimeven. If I turn on the strongest noise suppression, there will probably still be audio defects. So it is what it is. So who are the representatives of Sirius? I've had some area broadcasts on this topic and they're still relevant. You can listen to and watch them by going to my channel and checking the live stream section for the Sirius broadcast. Sirius is one of the stars closest to our solar system. It's about 8 light years away from us, which is actually very, very close. And we are neighbors with them. And Sirius has been very actively and closely involved in the creation and development of humanity at various stages. And even now, it serves as an energetic zone through which, like a star, energy is transmitted in a spiral to us here on Earth. That's why when any etheric changes occur, they are primarily overseen by these forces. And they have something to tell you about. They can appear either as etheric entities of the light plane or as physical, dense, material beings of humanoid origin. They look roughly like this. Of course, you could call this a photo portrait or a composite sketch. No one has actually photographed them, but based on descriptions and the images that come to us, to me and other contactees, this is how we see them. So now I will give them the floor. I have an assistant here who will be reading your questions from the chat. So get ready and write your questions in the chat in advance. We will be reading them out, so go ahead and ask. We will choose the most relevant, important, and interesting questions, so please try to formulate them clearly on topic and in a way that will be most useful for others. That way, there's a higher chance your question will be read. I need a minute to get ready. Just kidding about all the league moves, I'm joking, of course. Please understand that my previous statement regarding various league movements was made purely in jest and should not be taken seriously. It was a light-hearted attempt at humor, intended to elicit a smile, rather than convey any factual information about actual league changes or transfers. We extend our warmest and most sincere welcome to all of you, our esteemed visitors from Earth. We are absolutely delighted to have you join us and hope you find your stay here to be both pleasant and enlightening. Your presence is truly appreciated, and we look forward to sharing this experience with each and every one of you, our dear Earthlings, as you embark on this exciting journey with us. Right now, the coalition from Sirius is present here. We are the official representatives of the esteemed council, and there are precisely 4 of us present here now, one of whom is a distinguished member of the highly respected Sirius Council for direct contact with Earth. This is a special coordination council that manages the decision-making processes regarding your planet. Over the past 3 significant and transformative years, your entire planet has been undergoing a truly profound and deep transformational change, gradually bringing all of your lower frequencies up from the very depths to the visible surface. Starting in the year 2022, you truly opened a significant portal of deep and meaningful changes, and it all began right then and there, with the processing, first and foremost, of your most deep-seated internal conflicts. This had to be done on the etheric and astral planes, since these conflicts had accumulated in the field, and many subtle material entities also became involved in these conflicts. A process akin to Armageddon was taking place on the subtle plane, in the higher realms of Earth, and the struggle for dominance was underway. Over the etheric fields. Since your etheric fields were strongly intruding into alien plasmoid structures that were trying to take over your planet, drawn in by your vibrations. But thanks to the profound fact that there are those among you who diligently balance this intricate process, thanks to you as essential conduits of divine light, your earnest calls and heartfelt prayers were indeed heard, and a powerful, benevolent, energetic force was swiftly sent to prevent the insidious etheric astral attackers from completely enveloping the planet's delicate field with a pervasive grid of enslaving consciousness. Although to some extent, in certain territories, these energies manage to take hold due to the vibrations of those people who are accustomed to living in feelings of deprivation and enslavement. But overall, it was possible to free this space from such energies on your planet. We cannot act in such cases without your inner potential, since here we are only observers, guests, and helpers. But our main task is to help you from within, from inside your own processes, by influencing your deep unconscious, so that you remember more and more why you came here and your original nature. Those of you listening to me now, you're not here by accident. Each of you who, in one way or another, found your way to this video has a feeling inside, a certain inner sense of involvement in the processes taking place on Earth, and at least some desire to change this process for the better. This is not a coincidence. Even a small amount of your inner intention for universal well-being on Earth is enough to send the energy of freedom into this space. You need to understand that you are swimming in an ocean of vibrations and energy. And every thought you have, every action you take, and every intention you project into the space around you has an impact on reality to some degree. When these come together, they form a single megastructure, reflected by the collective vibrations of the field throughout the entire noosphere. The expansive dome of the planet, the intricate noosphere of this very planet, is profoundly created and continuously shaped by your powerful energetic streams, which meticulously ground and effectively channel cosmic energies through themselves, thereby actively activating and bringing them to life. Therefore, when we thoughtfully talk about the crucial process of dissolving negative restrictive alien grids, we are fundamentally talking about the ultimate victory of your individual and collective soul over these pervasive and challenging processes. This is because everything of true significance happens not merely out there somewhere on the distant etheric planes, but first and foremost, and most importantly, deeply within your own precious souls and sacred hearts. Over the past 3 years, there has been a deep working through of the ego structure, and you may have noticed that you were tested very strongly through states of pride, vanity, and arrogance. Some have passed these tests and become free. Some have fallen into a sense of victimhood, and some have fallen into a sense of excessive pride and self-importance. But the majority of those who are ready for this, among our guides incarnated in your bodies, have managed to make this evolutionary leap and even unconsciously, without realizing it, continue to carry out energetic and etheric work to raise the planet's vibrations. Thanks to this, it has now become truly possible to once again make a more energetic and dynamic transition to the next crucial stage of evolution. Those of you who feel such changes within yourselves may experience the following symptoms. The initial stage of this work begins with a deep emergence of questions about self-confidence as well as inner fears of loss. That is why starting from this May, your fears will be worked through. The etheric matrix is changing, and from the field of the galactic core, an energy has been sent that compels you to change, to transform, first and foremost, your deepest foundation. This is because the acceleration of the manifestation of your intentions into reality has increased. The manifestation of your thoughts has increased, meaning that all your illnesses, all your psychosomatic and physical deteriorations in life, as well as declines in finances, material well-being, family relationships, and other forms of abundance, are not due to the world around you being at fault, or other people being bad, or because some diseases have come. First and foremost, this is connected to the energetic processes of building a true foundation within yourself. When what is inside you, your inner conflicts at the level of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, now inevitably begins to manifest on the physical plane. This is inevitable because in the process of the quantum transition, you are becoming quantum beings. Your super abilities are awakening. If you do not learn to manage your energies, if you do not learn to control your flows, then your thoughts chaotically swirling inside your head, charged with emotions, often negative, and conflicted within yourself lead to discord within your body, your etheric fields, and the matrices from which it is composed. Because of this, it harms itself, and this damage is not caused by anything external. For many people, psychosomatic symptoms worsen and become more frequent. And that's not a bad thing. In this way, your body signals to your mind, which is used to understanding only what it can physically see, that it is time to pay attention to the root causes. And perhaps many of you, over the course of the coming year, will experience a worsening of certain chronic illnesses or long-standing problematic conditions, including in relationships, finances, or work. And this is not a bad thing. You need to realize that this is a push for growth, one that you absolutely must receive, because it is precisely through a crisis that many of you remember who you are, why you came to Earth, where your desires come from, and begin to change your habits, your behavior, your ideas and ideals, and your fundamental core beliefs. Without these spiritual transformations, through a shift in your deepest paradigm, a quantum transition will not occur on an individual level. The global quantum transition depends on the individual one. Right now, your Sunday is reaching the peak of its activity phase, so until July and August, a massive wave of energy will be sent to Earth, which will raise its vibrations. This wave of energy will contain parameters that imply the release of all your deepest emotions to the surface, and you will be learning to connect with yourself. All your chakras will begin to shine, but this does not mean that you will immediately feel good and pleasant, because if there were blocks in the chakras, if there were attachments in the chakras, then the time will come when you will need to part with dependencies, to let go of the attachments you held in your chakra store, low vibrational entities, to parasitic entities, to etheric and astral beings from which it is time to free yourself. And this energetic wave will begin to set you free. It is enough simply to hold your will and intention. Focus on a positive mindset, tuning yourself to the idea that everything that happens is for the best. Look within yourself for answers to the questions about the root causes, and then you will adapt to this wave of change more quickly. The peak of this transformation will occur On the day of the summer solstice, when the maximum peak of solar activity reaches its highest point and the unveiling of a new chakra system begins, which is connected to your multidimensional self, and you will feel how this intricate connection manifests within your being, leading to a heightened state of awareness and an unprecedented integration of your various energetic layers. The original structures of your soul align into a single line. Intuitive insights will begin to open up, but if you do not pay attention to them, if you ignore them, if you reject them, they will remain deep inside and will simply influence your state from within. And if you continue to ignore them, this may lead to an intensification of the outward manifestations of your inner conflicts. The second symptom of your quantum transition is learning to sense the vibrations of other people. When you feel the fields of surrounding objects and people, as well as the thoughts they emit, practice this state now. It will be useful to you. Based on their individual emotions and unique reading responses, learn to truly sense in each and every person a different, distinct form of the divine manifestation, a sacred and profound presence. Through this, a global unification of all occurs, like a single network of light that envelops the planet and through which change is spread. On the physical and material level, this will be reflected in a similar way. Conflicts between different peoples, which have been accumulating for a long time, will come to the surface. But this does not mean that it necessarily has to lead to wars and real clashes. But this can lead to crisis situations, as a result of which your humanity may come to realize that the path it has chosen is a dead end. In the near future, in the next few years, your humanity will reflect on where its current technogenic system is leading, because this is the next most important factor. The third factor, which is very important and is another symptom of the quantum transition, is the unwillingness to do what everyone else does, the desire to go your own way, the desire not to succumb to general trends. When everyone is doing the same thing, but you are doing something different, your own thing, you raise your personal awareness not simply because you consider yourself inherently better or more superior than others, but rather quite simply because you genuinely feel profoundly different. This significant and profound difference is often clearly manifested through a conscious and deliberate rejection of the overarching technogenic system, not in the literal sense of completely rejecting technology itself, but more precisely in the crucial and insightful sense of truly realizing and understanding how you can effectively and constructively use it for your own benefit, rather than passively succumbing to how it inherently desires to use you for its own purposes. What do we mean by the technogenic system? It is the environment you have created around yourself with your gadgets, mass media, advertising sources, and other means of entertainment. Your modern generations of children have become so immersed in them that changes have begun to appear at the level of the brain and consciousness, disrupting their memory and attention. Soon you will realize that if humanity continues down this path without taking measures to develop awareness, it will lead you to degeneration, simply because new generations will be absolutely culturally undeveloped, and culture itself will be something dictated by the technogenic system. The technologies themselves and their growth are not inherently destructive. On the contrary, we admire your technological development. But we want to warn you and urge you that technological development must necessarily go hand in hand with moral, ethical, and spiritual development when you begin to clearly understand for yourselves what you are using and for what purpose and what benefit it brings you. The energy that will arrive in the next 2 weeks will mark an energy portal which each of you can enter as something new for yourselves. Our curatorship from Sirius is coming to an end, but we will continue to help you and observe the processes. One of our core tasks was to prepare your psycho-emotional plane so that you could learn to feel your emotions, and we have done a lot of work along this path. Now it is the time of the Pleiadians. They will take over for the next 3 years and will transmit their energies to Earth. Energies of freedom, justice, and the desire to value the freedom of mind, the freedom of consciousness, the freedom of thought. Now we will continue to be present here and are ready to answer your questions. You may ask your questions. My name is Sergey and I will be reading questions from the chat.
So Galina asks, what is the reason for the change of supervision?
These are stages, steps or steps. You have passed the previous stage. It is over. It is time to step onto the next one as new flows of energy, new tasks and requests come, which will be dealt with by another team.
Yes. Here's another question related to wars. After all, we are biological beings and full of reflexes. For example, when something explodes somewhere, our reflex is to hide, for instance, and so on. How can we overcome this in ourselves and not be afraid of wars?
At all times, faith in God has always helped people. When a person believes that some higher power is protecting them, many of you believe in a guardian angel. Many of you drive cars knowing that it's risky and you could get into an accident, but you keep items in your car that symbolize God, according to your own understanding of what that means. You turn to them for protection. And the very faith people have that they are safe brings about the realization of these safety scenarios. A person who truly believes that they are safe, who trusts the world, the universe, or, if you prefer, God, always creates for themselves a future scenario in which any danger passes them by. You could say about such people that they were born under a lucky star, because even if an entire building collapses, this person will survive. Even if a bomb explodes right next to them, they will survive. Because the universe takes care of them. The most important thing for you right now is to realize that you are the one who controls your future. It doesn't depend on walls or on governments, but on where you direct your focus of attention. After all, you don't live in random events. You live in a field of possibilities, and any future event that concerns you personally has a probabilistic nature. That means there is a probability in which you avoid any problems. If you believe in this probability, it increases. So just trust the universe and know that you will always be safe if you believe in it yourself.
To sum up, do we need to shift the focus of our attention from reflexes to something more spiritual, to faith?
Reflexes and controlling a being through reflexes are characteristic of animals of an unintelligent kind. But you are not animals of an unintelligent kind. What sets you apart from animals is precisely this: the ability to overcome your reflexes and perceive them consciously, soberly choosing your reactions. Reflexes exist in any case, but it is you who are capable of responding consciously rather than reflexively, thanks to the fact that you have reason and a soul.
Thank you. Now, a question about nutrition. Why do children of the new generation have so many food intolerances?
Because the vibrations of physical bodies are changing. But there are also technogenic factors involved. Previously, You simply didn't know about these intolerances, even though they existed back then as well. But you weren't consciously aware that they were present in your system. Your body is generally adapted to the specific food you consumed, effectively ignoring any underlying intolerances and simply accumulating various malfunctions which subsequently manifested as a range of diseases that did not clearly show a direct connection to the food intake, but nevertheless significantly reduced overall life expectancy. It's not that there are more intolerances now, but rather that more intolerances are being detected. But a certain percentage of the increase is related to the technogenic system and the deterioration of food quality. Due to the decline in food quality, you are faced with an unprecedented situation where you start eating foods your ancestors never ate. After all, they didn't have access to refined sugar, purified flour, or refined oil. They ate everything in a more natural state. If they ate bread, it was made from whole grain flour. If they consumed oil, it was pressed naturally. If they ate sweet fruits and vegetables, they didn't have sugar. And overall, there wasn't the amount of chemicals that you use now. This is what causes the presence of intolerances. But there is also a separate category of people for whom this is connected to their spiritual nature, the memory of their past lives on those planets where such food was not typical for them. When incarnating from other planets, children bring elements of their other incarnations here. When on their planets they did not consume meat or did not eat grains or dairy products, and accordingly, in this life, they may form their own eating habits. If you go against their nature, trying to violate it, health problems may arise. That is why we recommend listening to yourself and your body.
Thank you for your answer. So, the next question will be a continuation of this topic. Can you tell us how an average person can learn to distinguish between health changes that are, for example, related to aging and those that are actually caused by the quantum transition? For example, someone writes that they are shaking, someone else has leg pain. How can you tell the difference? Is this shaking and leg pain due to the influence of quantum transition energies, or is it simply age related changes in the human body? How can one sense that boundary?
Changes associated with the quantum transition, as a rule, do not have a single, uniform character. For each individual person, these manifestations appear differently, depending entirely on what that particular person's inherent weak spot truly is, especially since our deepest weak spot is often something that is profoundly rooted in significant internal conflicts and unresolved issues. The quantum transition initiates the process of healing internal conflicts, and as a healing process, it can trigger processes in the body. Age-related changes, as you call them, are not the norm. These are not changes, but rather the destruction of the body as a result of improper use, insufficient nutrition, and lack of exercise and activity. This happens simply when the structures wear out, because for years you haven't listened to your body. But there are other signs that are specifically related to the quantum transition. For example, those that are often connected to the nervous system. Specifically, the sensation of sudden waves of heat or cold that seem to come out of nowhere, like waves. The sensation of a headache that appears suddenly, even in people who have never experienced headaches before. A sensation of pressure in the back of the head, in the area between the eyebrows, and sometimes a feeling as if the whole body is covered with buzzing, humming vibrations, as if You are inside a transformer station. This may be accompanied by an increase or decrease in temperature, shivering, or weakness. For many people, this manifests as drowsiness. But this does not mean that it is normal. It indicates that the body is in crisis. It is having a hard time coping with changes because it lacks certain resources. And for you, this should be a signal that you need to provide your body with these resources. Perhaps someone is lacking vitamins, micronutrients, someone is not getting enough sleep, and someone else is not getting enough walks, fresh air, or exercise. Your body is adapting, but it will require you to change your lifestyle. At any age, life expectancy is now increasing. And that is why people who have so-called age-related changes should consider the fact that, as it turns out, it is possible to age without age-related changes. It is possible to live to 100, 120, 150, even 200 years in the bodies you have now, while keeping them absolutely healthy. Why? Because now the connection between your mind, your soul, and your body is becoming much deeper. And that means if your consciousness is healthy, aware, sober, and clear, then your physical body will inevitably adapt to this process.
Thank you very much for your comprehensive and helpful answer. I know several people, for example, who look amazing at 80 years old. I mean, they look, well, about 40. Can we say that these people are marked with some special divine sign and that aliens somehow help them, maybe even actively heal them? Or is it all the merit of this particular person and there is no connection at all?
It's hard to answer this question without a specific example because many different factors can affect how a person looks, ranging from their lifestyle to the genetics that are active in them, and even to how higher powers interact with them. But here, you need to understand that these processes primarily depend on you. You are like a radio receiver tuning into frequencies, and you shouldn't just sit around waiting for some higher energies to heal you and give you everything just like that from the outside.
You mentioned the genetics that are active, so a person can activate certain genes and deactivate or switch off others.
Exactly. Your DNA contains the DNA of various extraterrestrial civilizations. Now, starting from 2025, DNA activation will begin. It is based on the restructuring of the epigenetic patterns that read your chromosomes. Inside each of your cells, in the nucleus, there are specific molecules that respond to the quantum vibrations of your body. Depending on the type of vibrations received, these molecules signal which area of the DNA should be read. If a person emits negative vibrations directed at themselves, anger at themselves, resentment towards themselves, depression, and the lack of desire to live a self-destruction program is triggered, and the body's own cells begin to activate sections of DNA that promote the development of diseases, cancer, and anything that can accelerate disembodiment. But at the same time, this mechanism also works in the opposite way. If your body feels that you need it, that you love and value it, that you love and appreciate this life, that you are joyful in this life, that you are happy in this life, then your energy field will begin to emit vibrations that will epigenetically charge all your cells and give an impulse to the mechanisms in the nucleus to stop reading the DNA of diseases. Within you lies information from hundreds of generations before you, and about how these hundreds of generations survived in the most difficult conditions, how they overcame the most severe diseases. And you could say that in your DNA, so segments that are called junk DNA, the solutions to many problems are encoded. Tuning into them happens through consciousness, through thoughts, through positive thinking, through discovering purity, energy, love, and gratitude within yourself. And when this energy of love, gratitude, joy, and happiness visits you more and more often, your DNA activates the frequencies of rejuvenating energy. And in your DNA, there is a region responsible for DNA repair, the restoration of telomeres, and the activation of telomerase, which promotes cell regeneration. It's as if we can effectively roll back the number of divisions a cell can undergo, thereby expanding the inherent limit within which a cell is truly able to divide and proliferate. In this way, cells can maintain themselves in a youthful state. A similar process occurs in your germ cells when they need to become sperm or egg cells. So this process exists in your DNA. You will be able to activate it. And now we are going to actively help you with this. During the meditation we will do today, energy will be given to activate positive DNA. But you should also remember that you are not just a species on Earth that evolved from apes. You are a genetic experiment in which the genes of many alien civilizations were combined and given to you. We, the representatives of Sirius, took part in this. Up to 10% of your DNA comes from us. For some people, this percentage can range from 5 or 8% up to a maximum of 10%. We gave you our DNA, but until now it has remained unused. Until the moment of the quantum transition, until your thoughts align, the alien DNA is as if dormant. And now the time has come to awaken this dormant DNA. Starting from the year 25, from this energy portal, the awakening of your DNA is taking place. And this entire process is primarily and directly controlled by you, the user.
Thank you for the answer. And in the chat, they're asking about grandchildren. Will our grandchildren be able to adapt to the energies of the quantum transition? In connection with this question, I have a follow-up to it. And on our planet, there are very different education systems, and our future grandchildren are being raised and educated in completely different systems. In some countries, logical thinking is developed very actively, while in others, the focus is more on the creative aspects of personality. For example, in Thailand, I noticed that children are more creative, more joyful, but they are inattentive. When I look into this issue, it turned out that their mathematics, physics, and exact sciences are not as developed as, for example, in Russia. Is there a difference? Will it be easier for some children to go through the quantum transition, or is there no such difference? It doesn't depend on that, because education systems are different everywhere. What do you think about this?
Children did not come to this earth at this time by accident. Each of those who come here has chosen their own mission. Right now, their task is to dive into the depths of the matrix, to fall asleep as deeply as possible in order to learn how to wake up. At some point, there will be a sense of a turning point, when in your society, it will no longer be fashionable to immerse yourself in gadgets and phones. A new trend will emerge, a trend for developing the mind. And here, against this backdrop, the reform of the educational system will begin. The educational system of the past has outlived itself, as it does not take into account the harmony between the development of creative and logical thinking. It is necessary to combine these. Many people already know and understand this. The deeper your psychologists study the psyche and understand its nature, the faster new directions in education will begin to emerge. They already exist on your earth. For many children, it will be difficult to adapt because they are used to constantly being inside your phones. But phones themselves are not inherently bad. There is simply no culture of their use. We do not know exactly what will happen, and we do not know how your society will respond to this. But we believe in and see the trends that currently exist in society. And we believe that the new energy under the guidance of the Pleiadians, will allow many children who have incarnated from the Pleiades to remember what freedom is, and to truly realize that constantly being immersed in these electronic devices absolutely deprives them of that essential freedom and the ability to explore the world around them.
So, am I right in understanding that it doesn't matter where a child is raised, in which country, or in which educational system, but what matters is who they were in their past life? And this will help him go through the quantum transition better, faster, easier.
Number factors influence everything. But first and foremost, it is personal choice that has an impact.
Yes.
What will this child want and choose? Because even in the most negative conditions, even in the most unpleasant educational system, he who chooses freedom will always find his freedom.
Interesting. Ah, continuing the topic about children's abilities, I have a question. Lately, my friends and I often have dreams where, for example, we move objects with the power of thought, as if it's a sensation from a past life, as if it's something that's done so easily, like reaching out your hand to pick up a glass, say with water from the table. But in reality, when you wake up, a person can't do this. How much are these dreams connected to the quantum transition? Why can't we do this? So that's my big question. Is this somehow switched off from the outside? Do people have this function? Or is this function also determined by genetics? In other words, are the genes switched off? How does this work?
This process does not depend on genes or the body, because its foundation is the flexibility of space. Now, when you go to sleep, you enter the space of 5D possibilities. A flexible space. Sensing its mobility, all you need is to express the slightest will and intention, and the space bends and yields to you. When you are awake, you are in the same kind of space as when you are asleep, and it is also flexible. It's just that its flexibility is denser and more inert. To make such a profound and significant change in real physical space, you would typically need a considerably greater amount of energy. However, as the various layers of space, which you might conceptualize and call 5D, begin to draw much closer together, the inherent distance between potential possibilities gradually decreases, and as a direct and natural result, the precise force or effort required to initiate and take effective action also substantially decreases. This means that such abilities will begin to emerge in many people in the future. You will learn to move objects with the power of your mind. You will even learn to levitate. But this does not depend only on genes. First and foremost, it depends on consciousness. When you realize your true nature as a quantum being, your knowledge of quantum physics will help you with this. Soon you will learn even more fascinating things about the structure of nature and the universe, and then many things will be revealed to you from a completely different perspective. But when you experience lucid dreams and can control objects within them, it indicates that your personal field has gained a higher power of intention. This is a symptom of a quantum transition. It is not based on the fact that you have become better than you were, but on the fact that your true awareness is being revealed.
Thank you for the answer. Now, a question about dark plasmoids. Can dark plasmoids feed on our energies? How can one help oneself to set up protection?
Any plasmoids are attracted specifically to the energies that are inside you. If you have energy within you that is equivalent to their energy, they will be drawn to it in order to carry out an energy exchange. Simply put, if you often emit destructive vibrations, such as constant anger, persistent fears, ongoing feelings of judgment, arrogance, pride, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. This can accumulate in your etheric bodies as blockages of energy. Plasmoid parasitic entities are attracted to such energies. They are like leeches. They feed only on the kind of energy that suits them as nourishment. They cannot feed on the energy of gratitude. They cannot feed on the energy of love. They cannot feed on the energy of joy and happiness. This energy is foreign to them. It burns them. That is why there is no more powerful or stronger protection than focusing on your inner desire to live each moment of this life joyfully, to find light in any darkness, to find positives where it seems there are none. When you do this, you recalibrate your own vibrations. After all, you need to address the root cause, not just shut yourself off without resolving it. That will have no effect. It is pointless to build protections around yourself if there is still a spark of darkness within you. What you call darkness, low vibrational potentials, blocks, fears, bursts of phobias. If you live from a paradigm of certain limitations within yourself, then these paradigms attract beings of a similar nature. And then they simply make the situation worse. But sometimes that's actually useful, because the worsening of the situation allows you to pay attention to it and say, "Stop, I don't want this anymore." As soon as you make a willful decision to change your way of thinking and, as a result, change your vibrational field, at that moment you begin to emit different parameters into the space around you. If you learn to be grateful for everything, even for these entities, to thank them for the experience they give you, to find the positives in interacting with them, and to send them the energy of the light of your love, they will fall away from you and run off. Because this energy is not tasty to them, they cannot consume it.
Thank you for your answer. Irene asks, what can you say about the galaxy MDS 1132, which is located in the Eridanus star system? Is it true that this is a technogenic matrix system that uses the energy of people as highly emotional beings, creatures, or entities? Alright, verification is in progress. Please wait.
Beings from the vast galaxy you specifically mentioned have indeed profoundly influenced our Earth. But you must truly understand that when we talk about an incredibly large and expansive galaxy, it simply cannot be entirely homogeneous. Each galaxy can contain billions of intelligent beings, different races and civilizations, both physically dense material ones, and those of a spiritual nature. That is why you should never label or stigmatize anyone, and especially not entire galaxies, perceiving them as negative. Remember that you always attract any negativity to yourself. You always lure parasitic entities to yourself because you emit their vibrations. And no energy will ever come to you just by chance unless you attracted it to yourself.
Thank you. Ludmila asks, what percentage of black energy is currently on the planet? What percentage of energy and number of vibrations should a person have today? Should earthly and galactic souls have the same number of vibrations or not?
There is 0% black energy on Earth. There is no such energy here. All energy is light. Darkness does not exist. That's just what you call it. There is simply a spectrum of vibrations. There are energies of a higher vibrational spectrum, and there are those of a lower spectrum. But wholeness is always in harmony when this spectrum is complete. Because white light contains all wave spectra of vibrations within itself.
Thank you. What is energetic Syrian magic? What does it look like and can one learn it? By the way, that's a good question. Can we, in a human body, learn it? Does it depend on the vessel your soul is in?
Of course, it depends. Our energetic Syrian magic, in essence, is not magic, it's what you would call technology, because with it, we control our systems. Our spacecraft do not contain any wires. Everything in them is based on energetic etheric flows that are shaped by the power of thought during the creation of the spacecraft. Crystalline pathways, light waves, and fibers are laid out, transmitting light like fiber optics, and the ship itself is controlled by the power of thought, by the power of intention, as well as by the power of the pilot and operator who are inside it. In this sense, we use special energetic codes, similar to how you use your computers. Your computer technologies could be called computer magic, but in order to use them, you need specific computers with microchips, chips, and programs. You press the symbols on the keyboard, and they trigger changes in the computer. Data is processed, and results are produced. Our technologies work in a similar way, but they are not physical, they are based on quantum technologies, quantum fields, and crystals. We also use symbols, but we visualize them mentally. In order to interact with the computer, sometimes we use sacred geometric forms, activating them with symbols, gathering certain energy flows, and influencing our reality. And the reality that surrounds us. From your perspective, this would seem like magic, but humans can use it as well. Not in the same form as we do. But if we can adapt certain channels for humans, then they will be able to use them. Such channels already exist. We have adapted them for Earthlings and passed them on to them. Yuri has such channels.
Thank you. Is there a difference in going through the quantum transition in your history? After all, you went through it as well, with a difference from Earthlings. In what ways are we the same, and in what ways are we different?
Our quantum transition happened a very long time ago. Since we evolved from marine life forms on our planet, it occurred back when we were still underwater. And as a result, our DNA changed and we became able to come to the surface. That's why we evolved from underwater creatures, not without the help of galactic forces. We didn't have wars like you did. Evolution proceeded more gradually, but as with everyone, in waves, in stages, and more than once, the quantum transition happens like a stepwise movement throughout the evolution of a species, giving it a push for development. In our case, it happened easily.
So, Earthlings typically go through it with considerably more difficulty.
On Earth, this transition is extremely difficult. On planets of our kind, when the time for the quantum transition comes, as a rule, unity has already been achieved on the planet, with all countries united and a shared culture, as well as a stable civilization that is not at risk of destroying itself. But in your case, evolution is happening at an accelerated pace, since you are a gathering of different star families.
So, the difference is that we are already incarnated from different galaxies.
You are walking through many conflicts that already exist in the galaxy.
So, some people still don't understand why the curatorship has changed. Why the Pleiades, they ask. Because the Pleiadians are supposedly closer.
The Pleiades are about 400 light years away. They are actually not closer at all.
So it's unclear why, but there's this 3 year interval.
They say that you should call upon the Pleiadians and talk to them. What exactly are they going to do? Why are they coming now?
But it was the Pleiadians who asked you to step back into the background.
No, that was the Galactic Council. Decisions regarding planet Earth come from the Galactic Council. They depend on the energy forecast, on what is currently active, on which processes are most needed. It's similar to how teachers in a school take turns teaching classes. At a certain point, you need a teacher for one particular lesson. When that lesson is over, the children go to another classroom and there's a different lesson there. It's quite similar to a significant change in the curatorship.
Thank you. Who is it that introduces various systems of the universe's structure and the history of Earth into the informational field for people, seemingly to deliberately confuse them? And how can a person actually discern where the truth lies? And what is the matrix?
There are low-vibrational plasmoid civilizations that are also earthly, not just those that have come from space. These plasmoid civilizations benefit from stirring up people's psyche towards fear, distrust, panic, and the search for conspiracy theories. They feed on the energies of this destructive plane precisely because it benefits them. They begin to mislead people, drawing them into certain structures of the universe that never actually existed, telling them things that never happened, or deliberately making them doubt the foundation they once had with their stories. This is a kind of combat hypnosis, where a person is driven to a state of schizophrenia by implanting schizophrenic ideas that destroy their psychological foundation. Because when a person starts to believe that everything around them is lies and deception, that everything is arranged differently than others think, they begin to doubt everything. And the fundamental supports that their psyche relied on collapse. They start looking for new supports and unfortunately end up relying on illusions, fears, and anxieties. This leads them to further degradation in terms of awareness. Some forces benefit from this, which is why they do it deliberately.
Mhm. Will it still be possible to reach out to you as before? People are asking.
Yes, we're not going anywhere, so you can still reach out to us. Curatorship doesn't mean that only this civilization is present here. It means that. It means that we are channeling streams of energy from our star, which are similar to our vibrations, and also helping to release those blocks that are connected to our fields. It's similar to when you go to a doctor, and each doctor has their own specialization, but overall they consult with each other and understand that one thing needs to be treated first and then another. It's the same here.
Thank you. So, we have a challenging question. How can there be life on planets around Sirius if Sirius is a young A-class star whose lifespan is too short for life to emerge on planets around it? Was it terraformed?
Yes, it was terraformed and populated from outside by other beings. But in addition to that, there were also native species of marine creatures, from which we ourselves evolved. You humans think that your ability to judge what is long and what is short is accurate. You haven't even been near our star, yet you think you're capable of calculating its age. You also fail to take into account that time is not a constant value at every coordinate in the cosmos. On different planets, the flow of time varies just as the pace of evolution does. Therefore, the number of years that have passed on Earth may differ from the number of years that have passed on our planet during the same period. This means that the order in which life forms can also differ. But the datings you mentioned are incorrect, as are the conclusions your scientists draw about the necessity and conditions for the emergence of life. On many diverse planets, life does not simply arise on its own. Instead, there are numerous galactic races, often referred to as seeders. These are races that actively engage in extensive galactic colonization. They do not terraform planets, but instead find those suitable for life and seed them with bacteria, fungi, and viruses, giving rise to a new planetary biosphere. They populate it with various forms of plankton, diverse microalgae, and numerous microplants. Additionally, they periodically visit, carefully adding new and interesting plant and animal species from other planets. Some animals living on your planet are very similar to those living on ours, because they were seeded from the same ancestors.
Thank you. So, once again, a question about children, but I'll combine two questions into one. Then they're asking about right now there are many children with speech delays. Is this somehow connected to the quantum transition? And the question issue, can the sin of abortion be prayed away? Where do the souls of unborn children go?
The question is not about praying it away. The point is, there is no such thing as sin. It's a feeling of guilt that you carry only within your own soul. To dissolve it, you can call upon the soul of this child within yourself and talk to them. Explain why you did what you did, and that at that moment you couldn't have acted differently. And that if it were now, perhaps you wouldn't do it anymore. And then, forgive yourself. Only in this way is it possible to free yourself from it. But the souls of these children do not choose you by accident. They come more than once. Perhaps they were born as children you had later, or as children of your other relatives. One way or another, children more or less know what will happen to them, so you shouldn't take on such guilt. You shouldn't do this in principle, but if it has already happened, then you need to find the strength within yourself to forgive yourself.
And regarding speech delay, how is this related to the transition? That more and more children have speech delays.
This is generally connected with the fact that there are a lot of people surviving on your planet. And the paradigm of communication between people has changed. Now your children sometimes don't even need speech to communicate.
Yes. That is, these are children of a new level.
This is a different generation.
And this has also become more frequent because people are living longer and there is a lot of survival.
And also because a lot of neurotoxins affect the nervous system of both the child and the mother. These neurotoxins accumulate from technological food, a lack of vitamins, and nutrition that leads to a shortage of the necessary building materials for proper brain cell formation.
Thank you. By the way, there was a question about nutrition. How would you recommend that people on Earth feed their children breast milk, and until what age? After all, we are mammals.
This is individual and depends on personal choice in each specific situation. We do not have any recommendations on this matter.
And what kind of nutrition is currently the most resourceful for humanity? Oh, by the way, there was also a question about whether what a person eats affects the chakras, the vibrations of the chakras.
Undoubtedly, there is an influence, but often not the kind you think. In general, we strongly recommend listening carefully to your inner intuition, because your physical body can often clearly tell you precisely what it truly needs. We strongly recommend preferring wholesome, plant-based foods that are fresh and have not been subjected to extensive heat processing, while still ensuring they are not entirely devoid of essential healthy fats and beneficial proteins. You need the right quality fats for building all your cells. Fats without the damage caused by frying, fats without heat treatment. These are fresh, unrefined oils. This can be plant or animal protein in moderate amounts, but mostly these are fresh, unprocessed foods in the form of vegetables and fruits.
Thank you. So, if the dark night of the soul has already happened, consciousness has evolved. I see that it's hard for me to find a loved one because those around me are intimidated by someone more conscious. What should I do? That's an interesting question. The question isn't entirely clear, but apparently it's about where one shines. You become more conscious, so do you find a loved one when it feels like people don't understand you? The person is the reason.
That means you truly don't fully understand yourself because the entire environment around you, both the people you interact with and the broader society you live in, largely reflects your own internal state and personal being. Consequently, you don't genuinely understand yourself or the fundamental reasons why you desire certain relationships or connections with others. And without figuring yourself out, you constantly waver between your fears, anxieties, limitations, and desires, your thirst and your lust. And your reality simply doesn't understand what it should reflect back to you. When you worry and fret too much, that's exactly what it reflects back to you as a result. Those worries and anxieties, which never actually lead you to your goal.
Thank you. Olga asks whether physical contact is allowed at the level of energy transfer, and how to distinguish GFS energies from unfriendly ones.
Are there several questions here or just one?
It's all in one question.
Physical contact with whom exactly? With extraterrestrial aliens in general, or specifically with the inhabitants of Sirius, the Siriusians? Is the fundamental question truly about them, or is it perhaps about someone else entirely?
It was probably about GFS representatives, meaning all GFS representatives, how to distinguish them from unfriendly ones, how to tell GFS energies from internal ones.
GFS energies can be distinguished by their vibrations. All energies are vibrations. Vibrations induce sensations within you. When you come into contact with any energies, you start to feel an internal response. If you respond to them with a feeling of joy, a sense of lightness, as if things have become clearer, then it means you are interacting with a higher, lighter energy, GFS energy. However, if when coming into contact with a certain energy you experience fear, uncontrollable anxiety, anger, or other states corresponding to negative emotions, it is most likely an unfavorable flow and other civilizations. We ask you, please, to ask practical questions related to your incarnations. Do not ask abstract questions that are not applicable to your life.
Let's write more specific question.
We do not come here to answer obvious questions that you can easily answer for yourselves. It is certainly not our primary purpose to be an exhaustive encyclopedia of readily available known knowledge for you, nor is it our intention to simply entertain you with trivialities. We ask you to ask questions that fall within our area of expertise. As for what you can potentially discover and find out entirely on your own, you should diligently seek it out for yourself. Autist, 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 autist. This question about the spectrum is not a global one for everyone, so we will not answer it.
Is the topic important? Is there any book on earth about the rules of spiritual development?
Books are needed by people in the old era, according to the rules of spiritual development. There are no universal rules for spiritual development, because they are simply the concepts of the person who wrote them. Any knowledge that has passed through a person's mind and been written down as a concept is no longer the truth. By following it, you simply turn yourself into a slave of the 3D matrix that you have created around yourself. This has nothing to do with awareness or the state of enlightenment. It's just an element of following certain rules, like a robot learning to execute programs. Do you? The era of robotism and slavery has ended on this planet. You no longer need any religious dogmas. Final questions?
Everything is so practical. Are the metro turnstiles dangerous? Which eye drops should we use? This says a lot about civilization, of course. How to feed children. Can you take our bodies, rejuvenate them, and return them back? What is the probability of a quantum transition in percentage terms?
The question is incorrect. There is a 100% probability of a quantum transition.
By the way, there was also a question about the solar flare. That this summer it will be very strong, and how will it affect plants? It's clear how it affects people. How does it affect plants? Its structure. What is the most important advice you can give?
Find your inner support. You live without inner support. Relying heavily on established dogmas, ingrained stereotypes, and conventional paradigms, you often try to live your life strictly by predetermined instructions, much like unthinking robots, without truly relying on your own profound inner truth or genuine intuition. That's where your questions come from, that's where your troubles and suffering come from, your restless mind, which is constantly jumping around in search of answers and new information. We recommend distancing yourself from information, learning sensory deprivation, and seeking peace. Learn to meditate and become aware of the true nature of any desires, feelings, emotions, and sensations. Without this, you will lose yourself, turning into mindless animals living by instinct, unaware of your true nature and unable to use your own strength. Only deep, profound thoughts. Interaction with your true self will allow you to truly find inner peace within yourself. That concludes my answers to the questions. Now we will do a meditation together. What are planetary meditations? Yes, I thank the representatives of Sirius, and I want to address you, dear friend. Before coming to the broadcasts, think through your questions. Some questions come from ego and pride. What about me? And what do I have? And what about me, me, me? Everything for me, 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 me. Imagine that aliens have come to visit you. You are the face of humanity. All your questions are being read. So, what do you think? What impression of our awareness will be formed based on the questions you ask? By the representatives of Sirius? But I think in general they aren't really surprised by anything anyway.
I feel like today we totally embarrassed ourselves because there weren't questions like that in the last broadcast.
That's a good thing. Actually, it means that we have a new audience. People have joined us who haven't meditated with us that much or that often yet. But during any of the meditations we're going to do now, and in general, the purpose of my channel, for those watching me for the first time, isn't to tell you fairy tales about aliens or to make predictions like, ooh, be afraid, right? No virus is going to come. You don't need to believe all those doom and gloom fortune tellers and predictors who shout, wow, shock, tomorrow, everyone will be taken away, removed. You've probably seen such headlines on the internet like, oh, they're going to leave the earth and be taken away, these ones won't survive, they won't make it, a new disease will emerge. Basically, this is called hypnosis, when people are hypnotized by these headlines through fear, through NLP, through suggestion, just so you'll watch the whole broadcast looking for the answer to that question, but in the end you never really understand it and just move on. Or maybe you've listened to some nonsense about the wrong shape of the earth, or about how everything is going to get bad soon, so you should stock up on canned food. All in all, I can sum it up like this: there's no need to panic or stock up on anything. You create the future, it's not written anywhere, not recorded by anyone. Each of you has personal responsibility for your own life. And no Syrians are going to come and rejuvenate you on another planet. Why would they? Because of your egoism? What makes you so deserving of such an honor? That's the question, right? If you have this kind of body, if you are in this kind of state, it means you chose this fate yourself. It means your mental emission parameters match the life you are living. Everyone gets what they deserve according to their vibrations, according to their energy. That's why any changes need to be made through vibrations, through energy. I suggest that on my channel, we don't just sit around doing nothing or simply, pouring from the empty into the void. Oh, this will happen. Oh, that will happen. Yes. Throughout this broadcast, you were given very valuable practical recommendations and advice from Sirius. I myself heard and observed as I was passing this information on to you. So listen to it again if you weren't paying close attention. And together we will do a meditation right now, which will directly allow us to enter the energy, to do a DNA activation meditation. That is, we are going to activate our DNA and launch a quantum flow from the star Sirius directly to Earth. In other words, we will travel to Sirius and from there direct a stream of energy here. In fact, all your questions are neither bad nor good. They are all acceptable and normal, so each of you asked what was weighing on your mind. But now you should come to understand that many questions you can resolve on your own. And if everything is done for you, it will be like in that fairy tale, Two from the Palace. Are you going to eat for me too? Yes, we'll even eat for you. So here you need to understand that independence is what drives the quantum transition. So what are we going to do now? The meditation we're about to do has side effects. What kind? Unveiling of clairvoyance, healing from illnesses. For you, these are side effects. Activation of DNA, dormant DNA, health DNA, awakening DNA. So if you do this meditation, you'll get some additional benefits for yourself. So get ready Find a comfortable position sitting or lying down. We won't do this meditation lying down, that's not allowed. We do this meditation sitting, tune in to our inner sensations, and let the flows pass through us. Just trust my voice. I will guide you with my voice, saying certain phrases. You might not always be able to repeat them after me, but at least mentally tell yourself, I join in to repeat this. Now we will begin a planetary meditation. First, we will create a field of light around ourselves, and then we will go beyond our bodies, traveling to the star Sirius. There, representatives of Sirius will meet us. They are already waiting for us. This meditation works outside of time, so it can be repeated. And from there, we will draw streams of energy, which we will direct to the earth. When will people achieve complete autonomy? Never. These are fairy tales, lies about autonomy.
I listened to one and already want to sing too.
Are you listening? Here's the question. Yes, the people who write, I've been listening to the same one for 3 years. Fine. Which of these have you applied in your life? So what have you been listening to for 3 years? What have you done specifically in your life? What have you changed? Or do you just sit and listen? That's the question. Apparently you haven't applied it, since the Pleiadians and the Galactic Federation keep talking about the same thing. What new thing do you want? What exactly? What do you want? Thank you. Jesus says, no matter how many times I come to Earth, I keep repeating the very same essential message in different incarnations. So get ready and sit comfortably, preparing yourselves for what is to come. Now, we're going to have a meditation, so I guess I want to ensure the ambience is just right for our conversation. Okay, now that the music is gently playing in the background, I am activating a much stronger and more comprehensive noise suppression system. This advanced system is designed to eliminate any unwanted ambient sounds, ensuring crystal clear audio for you. It's a crucial step to enhance our communication quality. Let's do a quick sound check to confirm its effectiveness. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. This should provide a much cleaner audio experience for everyone involved. Can you hear me? So get into a comfortable position, take a deep breath in and out, close your eyes and focus your attention on the sensations in your body. Imagine that deep inside the very core of your heart, a small radiant spot of pure luminous light gently appears, which then gradually begins to expand and transform into a perfectly formed glowing sphere, much like a tiny brilliant star or even a magnificent, warm and life-giving sun, radiating its gentle energy throughout your entire being. And this light starts to shine from your heart, from your body. This light illuminates you from within. Take a very deep and calming breath in, and as you slowly and gently exhale, consciously direct this radiant light down toward your entire legs, allowing it to flow through every part. Feel your legs relaxing. They fill with this energy of light, becoming warm and light. Take a breath in And as you exhale, direct this energy upward, feel it rising through your legs, and it relaxes them more and more. Feel your shins, your knees, and your hip joints slowly and completely relaxing. This gentle, soothing energy flows higher and higher, much like warm, comforting milk spreading throughout your entire being. Feeling your entire body from the very inside, much like a hollow vessel, gently relaxing every single muscle, it slowly moves upward along your spinal column. And then you gradually release all tension, completely relaxing your entire back, your abdomen, your shoulders, and your chest area. Move the relaxation higher and higher, and observe how your arms, head, and shoulders relax. Consciously let go of all your muscles. Release all tension. Your breathing is even and calm. Allow yourself to simply breathe. Take a deep breath slowly in and then gently out completely. Tune into this breathing. And now pay attention to the sensations. What do you feel in your body? Somewhere deep inside your physical body, you can sense that a subtle energy is constantly moving and flowing. There is movement happening. Some light, ethereal currents, as if warm air is flowing inside your body in streams. This is your true energy and the energy of the space flowing through you. Direct your attention beyond your body and feel how the very space itself profoundly breathes, how a vibrant, life-giving energy gently rises from deep below, from beneath the very core of the earth, completely filling your entire being now. Focus your undivided attention in the central area of your heart, meticulously creating a luminous, glowing sphere there. And as you slowly and deliberately exhale, consciously send this radiant sphere deeply down to the very center of the earth, connecting intimately with its powerful ancient core. Truly feel how a profound and unwavering sense of grounding peacefully takes place within you. Feel the entire planet, how you connect with its energies, with Mother Earth. Address her and say mentally, Mother Earth, I am now connecting with your energies. I humbly ask of you, please allow me to carefully take from your abundant essence the purest and most potent energy to meticulously build the essential channel we truly need for our profound connection with the distant star system of Sirius. Take a breath in and feel how the Earth's energy flows warmly into your body. It envelops you from within. As you exhale, direct this energy to the crown of your head. Imagine lotus there. Saturate and fill this lotus with a radiant stream of energy. As you inhale, draw the energy in through your legs and tailbone. You breathe it in from below, from the earth, and as you exhale, you direct it to your head. Feel the movement from bottom to top. Saturate the lotus at the crown of your head with a stream of energy. Now we inhale from the center of the earth, and as we exhale, we open the lotus at the crown of the head. Again, we inhale from the center of the earth, and on the exhale we shoot a dense and powerful stream of light from the crown of the head, from this lotus, upward into space, and our attention leaves the head and rises upward, following this stream of light. passing through rooftops, through buildings, through the air, through clouds. It rises upward like a rocket, flying faster and faster, higher and higher, reaching the edge of the atmosphere and then going beyond it. Your attention finds itself in outer space. You see the Earth from the outside, its beautiful rounded shape. You gaze upon the beautiful twinkling stars, which are incredibly far away in the vast expanse of space, but somehow they feel remarkably close to us. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, set off forward toward the sun. Now we will pass through the sun in order to activate the grounding portal. We are now activating the portal of new energies, 777. Take a breath and call upon your angels, guardians, guides, and heavenly protectors. Call upon the representatives of Sirius and the Galactic Federation of Light. Now I call upon the representatives of Sirius to participate in this meditation. I want to channel the stream of light through myself right now in order to direct to Earth the very best, the most needed energy for its evolution, to ground this vibrational flow of energy. Take a breath, and as you exhale, head toward the sun. You see the sun before you and fly toward it, as if on a rocket. Quickly, it grows larger, drawing closer on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We have arrived at the sun. Turn to the sun now. Sunday, you are the star that gives us light, warmth, and life. Allow us to enter your energies. Allow us to pass through you and open through you the portal to a new era. To conduct through you the cause of light for renewal, and to transmit from Sirius the most powerful, pure energy that we, the people of Earth, need. The grand gates of our celestial solar friends are now opening, and we shall pass inside the very heart of the sun. Now you are standing at the center of the sun, feeling its plasma, feeling its energy. Feel how this plasma passes through you. And now, from all sides, this luminous plasma of bright, pure white light begins to fill you. And now we exit the sun from the other side, extending through it a thread of light that stretches from the very center of the earth. We inhale with our feet from the center of the earth, along this thread, through the sun, and exhale. And now we look forward into space, toward the stars. Find the brightest star. That is Sirius. Now we call upon Sirius to create a portal before us for traveling to Sirius, to open a portal of passage. And before you, a vortex forms like a tunnel leading directly to that star. This is the fastest and shortest path. We will travel to Sirius on the count of 5. Get ready, take a deep breath from the center of the earth, draw the energy up through your entire light channel to yourself. Feel yourself up. Look ahead towards Sirius. Now, exhale. We are flying to Sirius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We exit hyperspace. We come out of the tunnel, and before us appears the Sirius system. Several stars are visible. And before us is the main star of Sirius. It emits gentle bluish hues and vibrations. It is different. Feel the difference between the Sun and Sirius. What's it like? And now, representatives of Sirius are approaching us. They resemble angels, glowing beings, some in the form of little stars, spheres, or plasmoids. They surround you with light, love, and invite you in. And we make a request to them. Dear representatives of Sirius, we ask for your permission to enter your space. On behalf of the entire civilization of our beloved planet Earth, we now humbly ask you, through our collective consciousness, to profoundly open the most incredibly powerful and truly pure streams of divine energy and evolutionary progress, to deeply activate the deepest and most profound light DNA within Earth itself, for the most supremely favorable and optimal quantum transition, for the swiftest and most complete cessation of all periods of conflict, discord, and contradiction, and for the ultimate and glorious attainment of the golden age of peace and prosperity. Form for us the very best streams of energy that are most relevant right now. Take a breath and head toward the star itself, toward Sirius. Feel how the vibrations rise, how the space changes. We approach Sirius and we make our request. Guardians and keepers of Sirius, allow us to merge with your star, to enter its center, and to draw from it the very best pure energy that Earth needs for its evolution. Create for us now streams of energy that activate our DNA. Access is granted. Thank you. Now we enter inside the star Sirius. Feel how different it is. Enter it. And you are surrounded and invited to the center of the meditation hall. We stand around the central sphere in the middle of the hall, a crystal ball, and in this crystal ball you can see the Earth. Now we are preparing for the process of channeling light energies through ourselves. The first impulse we send is the energy of peace. Now raise your hands in front of you with your eyes closed, take a breath, and feel how the energy begins to pour into you from all sides. From the front, from the back, from above, from below, feeling your hands. Bring your palms together in front of you in Namaste and feel a certain warmth appear between your palms, a slight tingling and vibrations. Now the Siriusians are activating the flows through us. The first flow is the very best flow of peace and harmony for the Earth. Good. This energy is accumulating. Feel how it enters you. How do you sense the energy of peace within yourself? What does it feel like? Absorb it into yourself. Now open your palms and with a dense pink radiance, send this energy to the sphere in the center of the hall. This sphere transforms into the Earth, and you look at the globe as if from space, and right from space, along the light channel we have built, energy now begins to flow to the Earth. We send it through our palms. Your body acts as an antenna, sending this energy to the Earth. Your consciousness on Sirius receives this energy. Now, we inhale on Sirius and exhale through our palms, directing energy to the Earth, to the globe. Imagine that the globe is in front of you, and you can rotate it. Begin to rotate it and envelop it from all sides with this pink energy, spreading it across continents, across countries in waves, as if you could guide it over the planet from space. This happens gently, and it is received by those souls who are ready to accept this energy, for whom it is beneficial, who desire it. Distribute this pink energy evenly across the planet, saturate it with this energy, the energy of love and peace. Now, at this very moment, we humbly call upon the profound and transformative energy of sacred DNA activation and respectfully ask the benevolent and wise representatives of the star system Sirius to graciously initiate the powerful and comprehensive activation of our deepest, most fundamental DNA, very essence of vibrant health, eternal youth, expanded awareness, and the profound awakening of our true, authentic self, which embodies the original and pure unity with the Divine Spirit. And now, from all directions, your body begins to be bathed in radiant beams of light, as if countless microscopic laser needles are glowing from the space around you, shining directly into every cell. Billions and billions of laser beams are shining on you now, penetrating every cell and activating your DNA. These are golden rays, golden streams. And now, send the same golden rays from your palms to the earth. Rotate the planet Earth and send them. Now we state the following intention. I send and channel through myself the energy of DNA activation for those people who need it in the best possible way. For everyone it concerns, for those whose higher self is requesting this energy, for those who need it right now. Rotate the earth and send this energy. What do you feel? Good. Now we are calling in from Sirius the very best energy of harmony for the earth. Feel how the energy of harmony begins to flow into your body, how your sensations and vibrations change. Breathe in this energy, inhale it on Sirius, breathe in this energy. Feel how it rolls through your entire body, calming and harmonizing you. And now, as you exhale, direct the energy of harmony toward the earth through your palms. It radiates in gentle golden streams. And you see how this radiance envelops the planet. Feel how this beautiful radiance gently enters the hearts and minds of all people. It harmonizes them and truly gives everyone a profound sense of inner peace and balance within themselves. Everything is going as it should, for the greater good. Now, make the most powerful impulse rub your palms together. Imagine the very best energy of love within yourself and send it to all the people on earth. And now, envision the future you want to see. A future in which all nations reconcile with one another, sign peace treaties, and begin recycling waste. Consciously teaching in schools. The eras of war are coming to an end. Weapons are being melted down. Nuclear missiles are being disposed of forever. How people begin to reach out to one another. Prisons are actually closing because they are largely empty. and more people are actively practicing the beneficial art of meditation. You can see how every single weekend large numbers of people gather together in clearings, and extraterrestrials are visiting more and more often. They are making contact with people. New beautiful homes and eco-friendly cities are being built. So be it, and so it is. Rub your hands together to send this intention out into the universe. It is done, it is done, it is done. My will is law. And now thank yourself, thank Sirius. We are concluding the meditation. Now we are leaving Sirius. We thank the representatives of Sirius. We thank the star Sirius. They send us rays of gratitude in return. We leave the star Sirius and see before us a tunnel leading back to Earth. On the count of 7, we will reach Earth directly from Sirius. Now prepare to step into this tunnel with the renewed new energies of Sirius. Take a breath, and as you exhale, step into the tunnel. 1, 2, 3. We are flying faster and faster. 4, 5. We are approaching the Earth, the solar system. 6, 7. We exit the jump and see the Earth from space. We see the light channel through which we exited, and we descend back down to ourselves. Passing through the clouds, through the air, we descend and see our city, our area, our home. We enter back through the light channel, fully into our body, and feel it. Feel your legs, your arms, feel your body. Move your legs, your arms, move your body. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, send a stream of energy to the center of the Earth. Ground yourself. Feel how roots grow from you, firmly anchoring into the Earth. And what a pleasure and delight it is to absorb the energy of the Earth. Take a breath in, absorb this energy of the Earth's density, feel the gravity. Exhale through the crown of your head. And now, as you inhale, draw back into yourself the stream of light that you released from the crown of your head. Inhale it, draw it back in. F, like sipping juice through a straw. F. And distribute this energy throughout your field in the form of a sphere of light. Use your hands to spread it all around you. Bring your fingers together in front of you, fingertip to fingertip, left and right hand, 1 to 1. Gently press the fingertips of your left hand against your right and say chakra harmony, chakra balance, chakra balance, chakra balance. Good. Open your eyes. This concludes our meditation for today. How do you feel about the energy of Sirius? There are sensations. Now you will start writing your words of gratitude. I ask you, please stop and don't do it just yet. Write them not now, but later, after the broadcast ends, in the comments under the video. You can write about your sensations. Of course, you can write now as well as later. That will actually have a double effect. It will be great. Please help share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Right now, it's very important to have real subscriptions and genuine views. So the more you help spread the video, the faster we'll be able to gather the necessary number of people for the meditations and send this energy out into the world. That's all from me for now. Stay tuned for upcoming broadcasts. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. and subscribe to the Telegram channel. I post updates there whenever I have meditations or make announcements about broadcasts, because YouTube doesn't always notify you that the stream is coming up. Sometimes we have broadcasts that happen urgently. Sometimes there are broadcasts on my other channels. I don't have just one channel. I also have a channel called Quantum Consciousness, where I post short clips. I also have a channel called Quantum Yoga, where you can find actual practices. Just take them and do them. And now we're going to create a few more channels, add different formats, and everything will depend on your support. I also have a channel in English. If anyone is from English-speaking countries, just type in English, Fedor Yuri, Quantum Consciousness, and you'll find my English channel. It also really needs support in spreading throughout English-speaking countries right now, because I spend money to have the videos translated. I invest resources and money into this channel, and I really want people all over the world to start learning about what the higher powers are bringing to us. That's all I have for now. Until next time,